Welcome back to Tales from the Tanks. Today we're moving away from the fish drama and enter the lush world of aquarium plants. Plants are the unsung heroes of our tanks. They help keeping the water healthy, they look incredible, and they make your fish happier. Whether you're a beginner or a veteran, you'll find something here. So let's dive in. It'll be Plantastic, Over the years, I've had my share of success stories and spectacular failures. I've compiled a list of the most common and a few peculiar plants I've personally grown, covering everything from simple moss to invasive surface dwellers that literally try to take over the world. Let's start with the anchors of the aquascape, the root feeders. First up, we have the plants that demand good substrate and root tabs. Cryptocoryne and Echinodorus, or Amazon Swords. My experience with Cryptocoryne has been an easier journey than most. Reports are that when they melt, and they will melt after being moved, it looks like a tragedy. The advice is to leave the root mass alone, and they come back bigger and better. But they are incredibly rewarding. They are relatively slow growers, but have only modest light requirements. I started out with just a couple, and over a couple of years, they spread enough to feature in most of my tanks. The Echinodorus or sword plants are your tank's heavy lifters. They can get huge. They demand iron and they are excellent at nutrient export. I use them in my larger tanks, which have 90 or 130 liters respectively, where they are great feature plants and provide cover for my embers and pygmy. In the larger tank, they've grown about 10 plantlets over the course of a couple of years, which are sold. So the takeaway here is, if you have dirt or active substrate, these are must-haves. If you only have bare gravel, be prepared to feed the roots often. I use these root tabs about once every 6 months. Now for a plant that has tested my patience more than any other, Vallisneria. I love the beautiful vertical background look, but every single time I introduce it, it goes straight into a catastrophic meltdown. If you've ever had vals turn to mush, you know the struggle. It melts because it absolutely hates changes in water chemistry, especially CO2 or hardness fluctuations. Plus, burying the white crown, the part where the roots meet the leaves, is a guaranteed fail. My only small success has been with jungle well, which is generally tougher. My advice? Don't move it. Don't look at it sideways. Plant the roots shallowly, make sure the crown is above the substrate, and pray to the aquatic gods. It's high reward, but high risk. These next plants are the beginner's best friend because you do not bury their roots or rhizome. Meet Anubias and Java moss. The Anubias species are bomb-proof. Low light, high light, warm water, they don't care. The only mistake you can make is burying this main horizontal stem, the rhizome. Bury it and you'll get rhizome rot, game over. Given they grow very slowly, they are bound to attract algae growth unless you are very particular with either balancing nutrient levels in your tank or rubbing the cover off regularly. As you can see, I'm relaxed about a bit of algae cover on older leaves as long as it doesn't take over. Then we have Java moss. It's cheap, fast growing, and it's a total fish hideout. It needs zero care, just regular trimming to stop it from turning into a fuzzy green brick. When you do trim, try to catch all the offcuts, else you develop new moss balls in all corners of your tank over time. For vertical structure, I settled on this stem plant, Hygrophila corymbosa. It is my favorite because it's a lightning fast grower. If you're fighting algae, throwing a fast growing stem plant in there is your best defense. And when it gets too tall, you simply snip the top and replant it. Instant new plant. It's the gift that keeps on giving. I cut them off once they break the surface and give them another 10 centimeters to do it all again, this time with branches. Before we talk about buying plants, let's talk about plant quarantine. Unless you buy tissue culture, every loose plant from the store or online has the potential to carry hitchhikers, snails, eggs, or even parasites. So let's look at how we can deal with that. My method of choice is the Alum Dip using Aluminum Potassium Sulfate. It's non-toxic to most plants, relatively cheap and highly effective at paralyzing and killing most snails and their eggs. Here's the process. I mix about 2 to 3 teaspoons of alum powder per 4 liter, that's 1 gallon of water. I gently submerge the entire loose plants, roots, leaves and all, into the solution. I let them soak for about 2 to 4 hours. Once the time's up, the plants get a thorough rinse under clean running water. This final rinse is crucial. You want to wash away all the alum residue and, most importantly, any paralyzed snails or eggs. This method is great for hardy plants like Anubias and Swords. Just avoid it for moss or very sensitive stem plants, which is why I use the next method for those. Speaking of clean, let's look at the alternative, tissue culture versus loose or potted plants. My experience, tissue culture is worth the money, especially for smaller or delicate plants. You get an absolute guarantee of no pests, no snails and no algae. It can be a pain to separate all those tiny roots, but I've saved myself a lot of heartache by going sterile. And look at the yield from just one pot. Sure, they're little now, but you know, plants grow. Patience, my dear. For something like Sword or Hygrophila, loose or potted is usually cheaper and larger, provided you do that essential alum dip first. Before we hit the water's surface, a quick note on my secret weapon, pothos and bamboo. The pothos is one of the best filters you can have. I just dangle the roots in the water and this houseplant drinks up nitrates like nothing else. Bamboo floating plant also works, but make sure the leaves are out of the water, only the stem in. And finally, let's talk floaters. The surface plants are where you get a lot of shade, great nitrate reduction and a lot of chaos. I've tried redroot floater and frogbit. Both are beautiful and highly recommended for the shade they provide. The Hygroryza aristata bamboo is a bit of a niche, grassy looking floater. Great for a unique look, but can be messy. And then there's duckweed. This is a real pest, it's called weed for a reason. It's like the glitter of the aquarium world, it sticks to everything, never dies, and once you have it forever. So better avoid it. So, from the high drama Vallisneria to the bomb-proof Anubias, that's my personal experience with plants that have been in my tanks. My current favorite? The Cryptocoryne, for their steady performance and controllable spread. Which of these plants has been your personal hero or your worst nightmare? Do you have the secret to stopping the great val melt? Let me know your plant tales in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into plant life, please hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and I'll catch you the next time for more Tales from the Tanks. Bye bye.